Hello and welcome back. Oh gosh. Okay, so hello and welcome back to the stream. Thank you so much for tuning once again. We're gonna go straight back into the trial. As you can see, that they are back in. Oh my. Okay, so we're gonna go right back into a trial. Let's do that right here. All right, so right here, let's go back into the trial.
Back on the record. Mr. Hilliard. I'm doing fine, thank you. Oh, we need Miss Simon. Tim? All right, let the record reflect that Ms. Simon has rejoined her counsel at counsel's table. The state is present as well. Mr. Hilliard, you asked to take a short break with your co-counsel?
We did. I discussed it with Mr. Person. I think we're going to wait and do the cross of Detective Lemons. She's going to be recalled later on, and to me, it makes more sense to do it all at one time than to try and break it up. I think it's less effective if I break it up. So
Okay.
just discuss it with Mr. Person. That's what we're going to do. As far as the next witness, I think the next witness, just to be completely candid, I don't know how long the state's plans to take. It will be a minute probably with me. So
Okay.
I still think today's probably still a good time to take a break today since it's the middle of the week. And we have Thursday and Friday, but I'll leave that with the court judge.
Let me turn to Mr. Dean.
The next witness is Daniel Youngkin, the defendant's boyfriend at the time.
Ooh.
We're ready to call him. He's here. He's been waiting. We are ready to proceed. We started it, after 10
We
today,
did.
and we've only taken one complete
We've got-
witness.
We've got a little bit of a late start today. Let's press on with Daniel Youngkin. He is here. He's ready.
Yes.
State's ready. Defense is ready.
Yeah, I just have, because he's a civilian witness and not a police officer, I would like to have one moment to again caution him against testifying about any inadmissible material
Yes.
in the hallway.
Okay.
Thank you.
You may do so.
That's interesting.
And when Mr. Dean comes back, we'll prepare to bring the jury in.
So what is going to happen is they're going to examine the boyfriend. They're going to examine the boyfriend of Leilani, Simon, and that is Daniel Yukin, or I think that's his name. So they're going to be doing that, and trying to get it onto get him to stand trial here.
Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And with that,
Okay.
the defense has indicated that it's ready as well.
We're ready as well.
Okay. Thank you. Please bring in the jurors.
So this is the last witness for today.
Cross of
Yes.
Detective Lemons.
Thank you, everyone that's tuning right now. Make sure you hit the like button on as you are here. If you're watching this back on replay, hi. Thank you so much for tuning in. So let me go ahead and change that over.
All clear, Judge.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please have a seat. And once again, were you able to comply with the court's instructions?
Yep.
All right, excellent. I indicated that we were reaching a point. We have one other witness that is going to be presented today. The state's going to call another witness. And Mr. Hilliard will have an opportunity to cross-examine if he chooses to do that. And then I expect that we will close for today and resume again tomorrow. Mr. Hilliard, I know you wanted to put something on the record.
I did, Judge. I'm just going to reserve my cross-examination of Detective Lemons until she's recalled, but I will cross-examine this next week.
All right, fair enough. Thank you. Mr. Dean, please call your next witness.
Daniel Youngkin.
Youngkin.
Take the clerk and raise your right hand.
How did I know he was
The
gonna have
evidence you shall
the
give the
man
court
bun?
and jury in the trial of this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Step this way for me, please.
I knew he was gonna have a man bun. I just knew he was gonna have a man bun.
All right, good afternoon.
There's no way. There's no way you have a name like
Yeah.
Daniel Youngkin and have a
Introduce yourself to
man
the
bun.
jury.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Youngkin.
And do you go by Danny typically?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it all right if I call you Danny?
By all means.
Where do you currently live, Danny? Not the street address, but city and state.
Orlando, Florida.
And how long have you lived there?
Since April of last year.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
Like, where was I born? Or
Yeah.
I was born in Germany.
And where?
Oh.
Would you have a parent in the military or something?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who was that?
My biological father.
Where did you grow up?
Essentially Dunn, North Carolina,
Dunn, North Carolina.
for the main part.
For the court reporter, is that D-U-N-N?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to draw your attention to the defendant here. Do you know the defendant, Leilani Simon?
Yes, sir.
And how do you know her?
She's Sky's mother, my daughter.
Mother of your child.
Yeah.
When did you first meet her?
Maybe 2020 or something like that.
And how did you first meet her?
She drove up to North Carolina from here to see me.
Had y'all had some contact, not in person, I guess, before that?
Yes, sir.
How did y'all first, so you're talking about the first in-person meeting, if I understand you correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How did y'all know each other before that?
Some social media network, something like that, like Snapchat or something.
Are you saying you had met online?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you remember about that?
Honestly, not much. Just speaking with her over social media and arranging a meeting.
Let's go back to that first time you met in person in North Carolina. Can you describe that for me?
Yeah, she drove up in her friend's car to see me in North Carolina, and I was at my job where I was currently working.
Where were you working at that point?
Love's Travel Stop off of Hodges Chapel Road in Dunn.
Okay, so you said she came to see you at work,
Yeah, I was trying to get off that day so we could hang out.
and did y'all end up hanging out that day?
Yeah, I think, she stayed at night with me.
Okay, and was that a one-night stay at that time, or multiple nights, or what?
I believe at the time it was a one-night stay.
Okay, and after that, after staying with you for that one night, where did she go?
Back down here, I believe.
At some point, did she move up there and begin living with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and did she have children at that point?
Yes, sir.
Did they come up and live with you as well?
No, sir.
What was your understanding of where they were at that time?
With her mother.
Okay. Now, where were y'all living when she moved up to North Carolina and started living with
In my parents' house.
you? Okay. And did she eventually get a job up there?
Yes, sir.
And where was that?
She had two separate jobs that she was working for at different time periods.
Okay. Can you tell us what they were?
One was at Love's Travel Stop on the gas station side, and the other one was Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue, where I used to be a manager at.
Okay. And I'm not sure I understood you. Was she working those jobs at the
Separate
same-
times.
separate times? What was the first one?
Love's Travel Stop.
Okay. And you mentioned that you worked.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay. Did you all work there at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all overlapped at Love's?
Yes, we worked sometimes, like occasionally worked the same shift on different sizes. So I was working at the Subway there, but normally it'd be different shifts.
All right. And you're living in your parents' house with her?
Yeah.
About how long did that go on for?
I don't want to I don't remember, to be 100% honest.
Okay. At some point, did the two of y'all move down here to Savannah?
Yes, sir.
And where did y'all move into?
The house on Buckhalter Road.
We
Did
just
y'all
had
ever
dreads.
live in any other residence in Savannah, or was that the first place y'all moved back to?
No, that was it.
Okay. Who was living there at the time?
Her brother Joe was living there, and Thomas and Billy were there, living there, but they weren't there. They were working a lot, so they were on the road.
Okay. At some point, did Joe move out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at some point, did Paul move in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Defendant's brother, Paul Simon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When or where were y'all living at the time that the defendant gave birth to your child, Scott?
Buckhalter.
Okay, so y'all were living in Savannah at that time.
Yes, sir.
What do you remember about the birth of Scott?
It was fast and enlightening for me, I guess.
Before Sky was born, and y'all were living in Savannah at the Buckhalter house, were Zane and Quinton living there as well?
Yes.
Okay. Was that the first time that you met Zane and Quinton when you moved down here with the defendant, or had you already met him during the time?
I had met Quinton before.
So let's go to the time period where you're living in Savannah in the Buckhalter house with the defendant and the three children, Zane, Quinton, and newborn Sky.
Oh, Sky's the
What's your
youngest.
relationship like
Oh, I made a
with
mistake
your
earlier.
wife?
I said she was the oldest, but no, she's the youngest.
Well, I loved him like they were my own.
What do you remember about Zane?
Lots of energy, and liked to play a lot, and had a lot to say. Didn't really know how to say a whole lot, but had a lot to say.
What do you remember about Quinton?
Pretty much the same thing, honestly. And he was a lot more. He was more chill, I guess, than Zane. Zane was more high energy, but Quinton always had a lot he wanted to say and play with his brother a lot.
I see it, as I've asked you these questions about the children, I noticed that you seem to be smiling a bit. Do you remember them fondly?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you about work in Savannah. When you first got down here, about how long did it take before you got a job?
I actually transferred from, the Love's Travel Stop in North Carolina to the one off of Dean Forest Road and worked at the Hardee's there.
And was the defendant working anywhere in Savannah at that point?
Yeah, I think she was working at this gas station off of 204, I think.
Now, moving forward to the time frame of Quinton's disappearance, okay? And I want to ask you about October 2022. Do you remember the day of the 911 call and all that?
Yeah, I do, but vaguely, but yeah.
In that general time frame, where were you working?
I was working at a warehouse for a company named Eclipse.
And where was that warehouse located?
What's that? Port Town? I forgot the name of the town.
Is it Port Wentworth?
Yeah, I didn't want to sound crazy by saying. Yeah, that's what I think so.
And was the defendant working there as well?
Yes, sir.
What shift did you all work during that time period? What were your hours?
First, worked from like 6 or 6:30 to like 3 or something like that.
And what about Paul? Was he working there as well?
Yes, sir. He was working the second shift.
And do you remember roughly what his hours were?
Yeah, I actually think we worked till like 2. I'm not 100%, but his were like 2 to 10 or something like that.
Okay. 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. roughly.
Yes, sir.
Would Paul probably be a better person to ask about that?
Probably.
October 4th specifically, the day before the 911 call. Okay, I want to ask you about that day specifically. Did you go to work that day?
The day before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And
No. No, maybe? I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. I know I took her to get her tooth pulled that morning.
the morning before the 911 call?
Yeah.
Okay. You're saying you don't remember whether you were
I-
up before that?
I don't remember 100%. I'm not gonna.
That's fine. What do you remember about the defendant, taking the defendant to get her tooth pulled?
Early oh yeah, I think we were at work that day, and we left because her tooth was hurting, and then I took her to the dentist, and she got her tooth pulled that day, and yeah, that was pretty much that.
What car were you driving?
The Dodge Journey.
And do you remember where the dentist was that you went to, or what it was called?
I do not. I barely remember the Savannah area.
Did you stay there with her while she had her dental work done?
In the general area, yeah, I wasn't allowed to be back there.
Okay, what do you mean by the general area?
I went to the liquor store while she was getting her tooth pulled.
And did you end up driving her home?
Yes.
So after you went to the liquor store, did you come back to the dentist's office that she was at?
Yes, sir.
I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about this. At that point in time, were you a bit of a drinker?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that, please?
I like Fireball.
Were you drinking every day at that point in time?
Unfortunately,
What about
no.
now? So you're at the dentist's office. Did she get her tooth pulled?
Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, did y'all leave?
Yes, sir.
Where did you go?
To get some food.
Do you remember where you went?
I believe it was Cheddar's or something. She wanted some soup.
Okay. And did y'all go anywhere after that?
I think back to the house. Or maybe maybe we went to 204 or we went back to the house. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
Where were the kids at the time you got back to the house?
With the babysitter, Michelle.
And is that where they had been all day?
Yes, sir.
From before y'all went?
Yeah, yeah. That's why they were at Michelle's, because we wouldn't work.
Okay. Tell us about the process of getting the kids ready and dropping them off at Michelle's in the morning. How would that go?
Normally, I would get them ready and drop them off myself while she slept.
What do you mean? I thought y'all worked the same shift.
We did, but she tended to sleep in as late as possible, and I would normally get the kids ready and drop them off over there and then come back and get her.
Did you, when you would take them to the babysitter, I understand she lived pretty close to y'all's house.
Across the street.
Would you walk them over there or drive?
No, I'd drive them. That would be a little rough to try and carry Sky and walk the other two little ones across the street at the same time.
I see. So the morning before the 911 call, the day of the trip to the dentist, had you done that in the morning? Taking the
Drove
children?
them over, yes.
Yeah, okay. And let's go back to Cheddar's. You left the dentist, you've gone to Cheddar's to get some soup for the defendant.
I believe it was close by, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure.
And after Cheddar's, you said you came home, right?
Yeah.
What happened after you got home? What did the rest of the day look like as far as you remember?
To be honest, I really don't, other than I know she went to sleep and I tried to clean up a little bit and stuff before I went and picked up the kids, and then picked up the kids and came back and kind of just followed suit.
And do you remember when you picked up the kids?
Not the exact time, no. But I know the general time was around like 4:30 or 5 is when I was supposed to.
I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 85, Your Honor. Take a look at that. Do you recognize the document that I've just handed you?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Text messages between me and Michelle, the babysitter.
Did you text Michelle about picking the children up that day, October 4th?
Yes.
All right. Does this document that I've given you fairly represent your text messages with Michelle during this time frame?
Yes, sir.
Do I offer this in as State's Exhibit 85?
Mr. Hilliard,
No objection.
United States 85 is admitted.
Can you look at that and tell me when you texted Michelle about when you were going to pick the children up on October 4th?
At 2:32 p.m., I texted her and said, "We just got home. Leilani got her top left wisdom tooth removed. I'm gonna try and clean for a few while she naps. She's still loopy from the meds. Is 4:30 still okay?"
And what did Michelle say?
Okay, 4:30.
And did you end up picking up the children around that time?
Around that general time, yeah. But I think it might have been 5 o'clock or something like that, but general time frame, yes.
And did you bring them home?
Yes.
So now we're in kind of the late afternoon, and who's in the house?
Me, Leilani, and the Quinton, Sky, and Zane.
And was Paul at work during this time frame, as far as you know?
Yeah.
Did you make any trips away from the house to get a beer or go to Redbox or anything like that?
Probably.
Okay. And what do you remember about dinner that night?
I think I might have like remade some spaghetti, like added another can of sauce and more meat and stuff like that to some spaghetti I made like the day before or something like that.
Did the defendant participate in preparing dinner that day, from what you remember?
Not from what I remember.
What was she doing?
To be honest, whatever she normally did, I kind of tried to not stress myself out too much about whatever she was doing.
Now, how was Quinton during the time frame that we're talking about? Dinner time,
Fine.
time frame?
Perfectly fine.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
No, not at all.
After dinner, at some point did y'all get the kids ready for bed and put them down? Or one or both of you?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
What do you remember about that? Try to put yourself back in that house and tell me what you remember about the bedtime routine.
I really don't, to be honest. I was not fully. I probably just the normal, get them changed into their night clothes and make sure they're all cleaned up and fed and have their, Zane would have his little tablet and Quentin would have his tablet and they just watch TV until they fell asleep.
Now, from this point forward, did you leave the house again that night at any point?
No.
And did the defendant?
Yes, sir.
What is the first trip that you remember her taking?
To 204.
Did the two of y'all talk about that? She say anything to you before she left?
Yeah, she told me she was doing that.
Do you remember what led up to her leaving? Anything about that?
No,
That's
not
fine.
really.
And what were you doing at the time that she left for 204?
Laying in bed,
What were the children doing?
laying down as well.
Where were each of the three children in the house?
Zane was on his race car bed. Sky was on the couch, or in her swing, and Quentin was in his playpen.
At the time that the defendant left for 204, was Quentin okay?
Yeah.
Did anything at all out of the ordinary happen to that point?
No.
And what happened, what was going on while she was gone on that trip to 204?
I think I fell asleep.
Anything unusual happened with the children while she was gone?
No. Oh, well, I was getting ready to fall asleep, and then Paul came home.
Oh, okay. Paul came home at some point while you were,
Yeah.
well, if I understand it correctly, while the defendant was gone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about Paul coming home.
He came into the room and asked where Leilani was, and I told him where she was, and then he said okay, and then he went and got some food for himself from the fridge or the freezer, and just ate, I guess, and chilled.
When you say he came into the room, what do you mean? What room are we talking about?
The downstairs portion of the house where we were residing.
The bedroom that the
Yeah,
five of y'all lived in together, you, Leilani, and the three
The-
children?
yeah, like 2 bedrooms, but yeah,
Where were you when Paul came into the room?
in the bed.
And where were the children?
on the other side of the room in their beds.
Were they okay at that point?
Yeah.
Do you remember Paul having any interaction with the 3 children when he came in?
Not 100%, no, but he might have said something to Zane. He might have said hey to Zane or something.
At some point, did Paul go upstairs? I think you mentioned something about him going to eat.
Yes, sir.
What do you remember about that?
I wasn't in there, so I don't really remember. I just know he was in the kitchen for a second, and I couldn't see what he was doing, so.
Did you see him again after that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. At some point, did he go upstairs and confine himself to his room?
I would imagine so, since, I stayed in the room, in the bed, but yeah, I would say yes.
Now, do you remember the defendant getting home from the 204 trip?
No,
And why is that?
I was asleep.
What's the next memory you have of that night or morning?
Waking up, and she was beside me, and that was that.
At the time that you went to sleep, was Quinton okay?
Yeah.
Had anything at all happened at that point?
Not to my knowledge.
And let's talk about the night. Do you remember seeing or hearing anything during the night?
No, I don't.
Do you remember waking up to anything unusual or anything like that?
No.
Had you had anything to drink that night?
I would imagine so,
Why do you say that?
because that was my daily routine.
What was your daily routine like in terms of drinking? I know you said earlier, I asked you to kind of talk about your drinking. You said you liked Fireball, but
Like,
a little more specifically, what would you drink on a daily basis?
probably over the course of the day, probably like 4 or 5 shots of Fireball and like 3 or 4 25-ounce beers.
And how much of that was after work in the afternoon and evening?
A majority.
So let's go to you waking up. Did you wake up naturally, or did you wake up in response to an alarm, or what?
Yeah, I think my alarm on my phone went off.
And where did you have your phone that night?
Maybe it was under my pillow. I don't know.
Why would it have been under your pillow?
She had a tendency of going through my things.
What do you mean?
She would, without my knowledge, take my devices and go through them, and I felt it was invasive.
Why was she doing that?
She had this idea that I was wronging her.
How were things between the two of you at this time?
There wasn't much there. I was there for Sky.
So, you think you had an alarm set and your phone might have been under your pillow? Is that kind of where we left off?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you get up, what do you do?
Normally try and be quiet so I don't wake any of the kids up. And I tried to wake her up, but she was... Normally if I do that, I'd either get yelled at or something like that. So I would just... I said, hey, are you going to work today? She'd be like, no. And that's when I proceeded to text Michelle and say that she was going to watch the kids. As in this exhibit here, it says, hey, the kids are going to stay here with her today, Miss Michelle.
And what time was that text sent?
5:20 a.m.
A moment ago, you were talking about what would happen in the morning when you get up for work and you try to wake her up. And you said she would be like...
Oh, yeah, she'd yell at me or, yeah, pretty much I'd get yelled at.
By the phrasing, she would be like yelling at you, can I take from that this is something that this was not the first time this had happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell us about that? There's a history of this?
It's a pretty general thing. at that time.
Tell me what you mean.
I would try and wake her up to go to work, and she would either yell at me for waking her up or say she's not going in, and she would make up the time and go in with Paul on his shift. It'd be a rare occasion for me not to get yelled at or that to happen.
Why was it
That
during
explains
that
so
time frame
much.
that you were able to get
This
up
explains so
and go
much.
to work as scheduled, and she would have these difficulties with that? What was going on?
I'm sorry, could you?
Why was it that you were able to get up to go to work, and she was having these difficulties getting up, going to work during this time period? What was going on?
Oh,
Why was that?
I would go to sleep and she wouldn't be there, so I just was kind of making sure that I could get a paycheck at that point. So I just kind of let her be her own person, of course. Well, not let her, but you know, she would do whatever she did, and I would make sure that the kids were taken care of and that I could make it to work at least somewhat all the time.
So there are times you go to sleep at night so that you're able to get up for work and she's not there.
There were times like that, yeah.
And would she talk to you about where she had been?
I never asked.
Now, let's go back to that text message to Michelle. Were you, before you sent that text message to Michelle, had you been planning on taking the 3 children to Michelle's house that morning?
Yeah, the plan was because we missed the day before of work for her tooth removal. And we both were scheduled for the next day for a shift. The plan was to drop the kids off and go to work with her.
Were y'all salaried or hourly?
Hourly.
Okay. So you don't go to
It
work,
mattered.
you don't get paid.
It mattered.
Yeah. Were y'all saving up for anything in particular at this point in time?
So, yeah, a place.
Tell me about that.
What would you like to know about it?
Well, what were y'all trying to do?
Oh, get our own place and out of her mother's house.
And why was that?
There were some complications going on that we were told we had to leave, so we were preparing for that.
And did you,
Trying to.
on the day that we're talking about, October 5th, 2022, did you all at that time have the money to go into your own place?
No.
And were you trying to accumulate the money to do that?
Yes.
What type of place were y'all planning to get? Apartment, house? What are we talking about?
Really whatever we could afford.
And is that something that y'all have been talking about in the days leading up to October 5th?
Yeah.
How much did y'all have to pay the babysitter? Well, first let me ask you, did you pay her?
Yeah.
And do you remember how much? Per day or per week or what?
Yeah, it says here, at the top of the exhibit, where she sent me a text message saying, "Hey, I haven't been charging for Sky. I do this charge for newborns until they are 3 months. So I will have to start charging for Sky. So 45 a day is $225, but I'll charge y'all $200 for all 3. That is still a good deal. Daycare would be way more
And that was going to be $200 how
a week,
often?
which is quite an expense. For 5 days a week, that's what it was added up to. So
what was the date of that text message where Michelle told you that she was about to ask to start charging separately for Sky?
October 3rd.
And prior to that, had y'all only been paying for Zane and Quinton?
Yeah.
So it was about to go up.
hmm
So when she wouldn't wake up on the morning of October 5th, were you frustrated by that?
At that point, I just kind of blocked everything out and just made sure I made it to work.
How did you get to work?
I drove the vehicle that her mother had bought for her,
Which vehicle was that?
the Dodge Journey.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary in the vehicle when you got in it?
No,
If there were fireball and curveball bottles in that vehicle at the time that police searched it, is it possible that those are attributed to you? Attributable to you?
yeah, quite likely.
Did you sometimes drink in the car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would that be like while you were driving or when you were on break? Or
Unfortunately,
Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth.
Um,
You could have just pled the fifth, my guy. Now.
what do you remember about driving to work? Anything out of the ordinary?
no, nothing out of nowhere. You're just trying to get there.
Getting out of the house that morning, when you left the house and got in the car, did you have any idea that Quinton was gone?
No,
Did you turn the lights on in that room?
Yeah, why would she not tell Quinn?
sir, I
Why
did
would she
not.
not tell
Why
him?
not?
I didn't want to wake any of them.
Did you believe that there were 3 sleeping children in that room when you woke up?
I did believe that.
Is it fair to say that you were kind of trying to sneak out without disturbing them?
That's, yeah, because if I wake them up, then it's a whole thing.
Did you look in Quinton's pack and play before you left?
No, I didn't.
You okay?
Yeah.
At some point during the investigation, was there a period of time where you told the police that you had seen him that morning?
Yes, sir.
Were you sure about that at the time you said it?
No.
And are you sure now that you didn't see him?
I didn't look.
I noticed that you seemed, I asked you if you looked, and it seemed like you got a little emotional in response to that question. What is it about that question in particular that makes you upset?
Just,
Could I stop it? Guilt.
I wish I looked. No, I don't know if it would have made it. I don't. Just wish I looked.
Anything out of the ordinary from your perspective when you're leaving the house that morning?
No, sir.
Anything out of the ordinary in terms of the drive to work?
No, sir.
Anything out of the ordinary in terms of arriving at work?
No.
And when you left the house to go to work, which door did you go out of?
The back door by the pool.
Is that the one where you have to walk out through the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Now, did you work a full shift that day?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I received a phone call from Leilani saying that Quinton was missing
Where were you when you got that phone call?
in the back of a truck, loading it, because my job was to load 18-wheelers by hand.
So you're in a truck loading boxes and you get this call.
Yes, sir.
And what is your best recollection of what she said to you on that call?
Have you seen, or Quinton's not here? I'm pretty sure it just began with, where's Quinton? Where's my baby? Quinton's not here.
How long was that phone call, as far as you remember it?
From the time she called me to the time I got to Buckhalter.
And what were y'all talking about during that time period?
She was crying most of the time. I just stayed on the phone with her the whole time.
Did she tell you anything about what happened when she woke up?
The door was open or something, and Quinton wasn't in his playpen. And me trying to calm her down.
Going back to when you got this call and you left work, tell me about leaving work. What do you remember about it?
I ran out of there as fast as I could, and I actually left my jacket and a whole pack of cigarettes, which later on my boss mailed it to me, thankfully. and it still had the pack of cigarettes in it.
What's his name?
Dave.
Did you see Dave that morning?
Yeah, I passed him in the parking lot. I didn't say anything, but he stopped me, and he said, "Hey, you can't run past security like that." And I explained what happened, and he said, "Okay," and I left.
Was this when you were on the way out to go home?
Yes, sir.
There was security at the exit to the warehouse?
Yeah, there's security there when you go in and when you leave.
Why is there security when you go out?
I think they just stay there all day for people who come in.
Okay. And you're supposed to get checked out by security when you go out?
Well, you're supposed to talk with whoever your supervisor is, but I didn't even care to stop.
Okay. You just kind of blew by them?
Yeah.
I'd like to approach with what I have marked as State's Exhibit 30, Your Honor.
Okay.
Do you recognize this disc?
Yes, sir.
What is on this disc?
Me going into work and me leaving work.
You're referring to video recordings?
Yes, sir.
Do the recordings on this disc fairly and accurately depict your arrival to work that morning and your departure?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would offer, yeah, it's fine. I would offer this as State's Exhibit 30.
All right, admitted without objection.
What does that mean? He's gonna play it. Sorry.
He's adorable, I'm not gonna lie.
Or does that mean you're about to play it? And I responded yes.
Sorry.
It's okay. Everything is being recorded. Everything that we say is taken down.
Before I play it, Matt, is there any particular reason you asked that question?
I didn't understand what you said. You said you'd presented the. I just didn't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
No apology necessary.
Nah, this guy is really a very bad fact witness. Fact witness is what you're gonna call it? Against Leilani. She's very likable as well. Once again, if
Your
you're
Honor, I'm now going to publish from State's Exhibit 30 a file with the name IMG_0695.
All right, you may proceed.
Do you see yourself, before I play it here, and again,
Yeah.
I don't know why every video is sideways, but this one is. Do you see yourself in this video?
Yes, sir.
Where are you?
The bright orange.
What is that bright orange garment that you have on?
My North Face jacket.
Well, let me go back. Is the bright orange thing your North Face jacket, or is that a safety vest?
No, I believe that's my jacket. I believe that's my jacket.
Okay.
Because my jacket is bright orange.
So is that you getting to work?
Yes, sir.
Anything abnormal at that time?
No, just looks like I was trying to get there and not be late. I have a tendency to wait till the last second.
And I now play IMG_0697. And what do we see in that video?
Me running very, very quickly. Without my jacket.
What did you think at this point was going on?
I wasn't sure. I had just received the phone call and was still on the phone with her, so I was just trying to get back to the house as soon as possible.
At some point, did you get home?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And did you talk to the defendant once you got there?
Yes, sir.
What was going on when you arrived at the house?
She was outside on the back porch crying.
Were the police there yet?
No, sir.
What did you all talk about at that point?
I asked her what was going on, really, like details, and what she thought happened and stuff like that.
You said she was on the back patio crying, if I understood you correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where on the back patio was she?
Underneath the, like, where the, sitting in a chair right outside the back door.
Yeah, by that wooden bar
Yeah,
structure?
that used to be there, yeah.
She was sitting down
Yes, sir.
on the back patio,
Yes, sir.
crying.
Yes, sir.
There are woods all around that house, right?
Yes, sir.
When you got home, was she not looking for Quinton?
No, sir.
What was she doing in the chair other than crying, if anything?
Just crying, saying she didn't know where he was.
Had she called the police yet, to your knowledge?
No, sir.
At some point, were the police called?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, did Michelle come over there?
Yes, sir.
And her daughter, Talia, or one of her daughters?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how it was that Michelle knew to come over there?
Yes, sir. I called her.
When, in relation to your arriving home, did the police finally get called?
After I took a look around, I called Michelle and then called them, maybe? Yeah.
Is it fair to say it sounds like you don't necessarily remember who exactly called the police when?
Oh, no, I remember I called the police, but I believe Michelle was the first person that was called to see if she had maybe gotten Quinton or something.
Was Paul there when you got home?
I can't remember.
So let's talk about when the police get there. Okay, do you remember talking to some police officers in the driveway?
Yes, sir.
And the defendant was there, right?
Yes, sir.
Did she start talking about Quinton's father, Henry Bubba Moss Jr.?
Yes, sir.
Now, had she been talking to you about him before they arrived, or no?
She mentioned him.
When did she mention him? Was it when you were on the phone in the car, or after you had gotten home? Or
I believe it was when I got back to the house.
And what did she say about him that you remember?
That he had sent her a message saying that she didn't deserve to have Quinton.
Now, when was she saying that she had gotten those messages from him?
Maybe I think she said it was 2 weeks ago at that date.
Is this morning, the morning of Quinton being gone, was that the first you had heard of those messages?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so she's talking to you about something that supposedly happened a couple weeks ago. But you're saying she hadn't told you about that until this moment.
Correct.
Now, did you all talk during the time period between when you got home and when police arrived about what she had done during the night? Where if anywhere, she had gone?
No.
But there was some period of time between when you got home and when the police got there.
Yes, sir.
And then the police were there for quite a long time, right?
Till we went to the police station, and probably after that.
At some point, did you hear her tell a police officer that she had left the house sometime after 1 in the morning to get some Orajel from a friend at a Chevron?
Yeah, that's what she told the police officer, yes, sir.
At the time she told that to the police officer, was that the first time you had heard that?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to show you a clip of body-worn camera footage that's been admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 8, okay? Are you kind of oriented on what we're looking at here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
First of all, does this opening frame here depict the patio area where the defendant was sitting down at the time that you got home from work in the first place?
Is that where she was sitting when I got home?
Well, I mean, does anything in this image show where she was sitting down?
Yeah. The far left, beside Paul. But Paul wasn't. I don't know where Paul was. She was sitting in the far left chair, the empty one.
And you're saying she was alone at that point?
Yes.
Okay. This is sometime later, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to play this for you now and ask you some questions about it.
Okay.
Have patience for sale. They just got here. Did y'all go anywhere last night or yesterday with baby? That maybe he could have followed you or something to that effect? Y'all didn't go anywhere?
Not even with my kids, no.
No, I mean, just maybe you yourself.
Yeah, I know, because I got my tooth pulled yesterday, so my tooth, maybe, I went to get some Orajel, that was it.
2 o'clock yesterday afternoon?
No, like morning, wise, because I couldn't go to sleep.
Okay, so where'd you go?
Right up the road right here, that Chevron. And I met my friend I used to work with, she had Orajel, because they didn't have any at Circle K when I called.
Okay. Did you go anywhere else that you maybe have been followed? So when did you get home?
I can tell you exactly the time I'm not.
Stop the playback at 12:13:19 on the timestamp. Could you hear as you were standing there? First of all, is that you in the orange reflective vest there?
Yes, sir.
High
Yes, sir.
face recorded.
Could you
Over here.
hear what she was saying to this officer? I mean, obviously the body cam picked it up, but could you hear it standing there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How were you feeling? What were you thinking as you heard her say this?
Well, you can see me tilt my head to the side as if I had no knowledge of what she was referring to.
Did it, I mean, how did it strike you? How did this story strike you? What did you think?
What the hell? Sorry. Excuse my language. What the heck?
It's fine. You had no knowledge of this at the time.
Yes, sir.
You said that you tilted your head to the side when you first heard this story. Can you, I'm going to play it back, and I want to see if you can point out, first of all, show us what that looked like just from the stand.
Just like a tilt to the side, like what?
And if I play this back, can you point out to us where that happens in this video?
But yes, sir.
Have patience, we're still. They just got here. Did y'all go anywhere last night or yesterday with baby? That maybe he could have followed you or something to that effect? Y'all didn't go anywhere?
Not going my kids, no.
No, I'm just you yourself.
Yeah, I'm not, because I got my tooth pulled yesterday, so my school maybe, I went to pick up some Oreo, that was it.
2 o'clock yesterday afternoon?
No, like morning, why? I said I couldn't go to sleep.
Okay, so where'd you go?
Right up the road right there, that Chevron. I met my friend that I used to work with, and she got Oreo because they didn't have any extra when I'm home.
Okay. Did you go anywhere else that we maybe have been following?
I'm pausing it because I see you pointing at the screen. That's 12, 13, 15. We can kind of see your head tilt to the side a little bit.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to play that one more time from just a couple seconds back for anybody that might not have caught it. Because you would agree that it is subtle, right?
Yes, sir. And he was moving around, so you could kind of, you have to pay attention to see it.
Extra okay when I'm home.
Okay. Did you go anywhere else that we maybe have been following? So when did you get home?
Right, so you had not seen that before, or you had not heard that before, I should say.
No, I haven't.
And your reaction was, what the hell revised to what the heck?
They're gonna go in the alcohol defense.
Yes, sir.
I feel it. They're gonna go in the alcohol defense. They're gonna say, of course, he's gonna react like that. He doesn't remember anything.
Did you all go to the police station?
I would do that
Yes,
if I was
sir.
defending Leilani.
And,
That's the first thing I would do.
Did you cooperate with an interview or perhaps multiple interviews that day?
Quite a few.
Did the police ask you for consent to search your phone?
Yeah.
And did you agree to that?
By all means.
Did that concern you at all?
Not one bit.
After the police station that day, where did you go?
Back to Buckhalter.
And a few days later, did you come in to the FBI office in Savannah for a follow-up interview?
Yes, sir.
Now, between the first day's interviews and those follow-up interviews, had the FBI asked you to do anything in particular as it relates to the defendant?
Yes, sir.
And what was that?
To,
Let me ask you this. Did the FBI propose to you that they put you up in a hotel room and that they wire that hotel room up for audio and video?
yes, sir.
And did they tell you why it was that they wanted to do that?
Yes, sir.
What was it? What was the reason for this?
To collect evidence against Leilani.
Did you know at this point what had happened to Quinton?
No, sir. I had, I just know what I was told.
And did you agree to this monitoring of the hotel room?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any concerns about doing that?
No, none at all.
Did you have any concerns about you yourself getting in trouble from something that might be said on that recording by one or the other of you?
Not at all. Wait,
Did-
by me? No.
Did you sign paperwork agreeing to this?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 31. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
Me initialing for permission for them to bug the hotel room, quote unquote.
And does that document have your signature on it?
Three places where I initialed.
And when does it reflect in terms of the date that you agreed to do this?
10/7/2022.
Now, did you all go through with this?
Yes, sir.
Now, before agreeing to this, let me ask you this. After the first day of interviews, y'all leave, but before the follow-up interviews at the FBI office, did you talk to her about that night and what had happened?
I'm so sorry.
It was a long, kind of convoluted question. I'll try again. So y'all go in on October 5th, and you're interviewed by the police at the police department.
Correct.
At some point, y'all leave, right?
Yes, sir.
And then at some point, y'all are in a bugged hotel room.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Between those two things, between leaving the police station on day one and the hotel room operation, I'll call it, were you and the defendants together with each other?
Yes, sir.
Right? And were you talking to her at that point about like what had happened to Quinton and where she had been that night?
Yeah.
Did she ever? Did you ask her about this Oragel story that she had told the police on the scene?
No, not in detail.
Okay. Did you ask her about that during the hotel room thing?
Yes, sir.
And did she repeat it to you?
Repeat denying it?
Well, keep saying that that's what she had been doing.
Oh, yeah. What? Yeah. Yes, sir. I don't know where my head was at when I was saying that.
Ms. King, you might want to ask that again.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure that Mr. Young can understood.
Were you skeptical of the Oragel story?
Yes, sir.
When you're in the hotel room with her, did you ask her about
Yes, sir.
it? And what did she say about it?
That's what she did.
That it was true?
Yes, sir. And she stuck to it. Sorry about that.
I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 32, Your Honor. Do you recognize this disc?
Yes, sir.
And what's on it?
Recording of the hotel.
Right.
The room that we were in.
Just a couple selections, right?
Yes, sir.
Does it fairly and accurately depict some of your interactions in the hotel room with the defendant?
Quite well.
And I would offer this into evidence as State's Exhibit 32, Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 32 is admitted without objection.
I can't wait for Cross. I want to see what they do on Cross.
And I would introduce 31 at this point, Your Honor, to the consent form.
No objection to that.
All right, very well, it is admitted.
Right, now there are 5 files on this disk. The first 4 are each about a minute long, and then the last one is about 7 minutes long. I'll start with the first one. The file name beginning 1941.
So can I ask you a question? Do you mind? Are you gonna get ahead? I'm asking you a question before I ask you this question. No, because I need to know. Are you gonna get
I know,
angry?
I can't tell you don't get angry, but don't hold the questions.
Why did you lie to me
What do you mean?
about the ordeal?
I didn't. I did not lie to you about that.
So you went and met Misty.
Yes, and I drove in and I drove out. And they tried to say that again, and I asked them to show me a picture of Missy or whatever. Did y'all speak to my phone lady? Did you speak to her? Did you speak to her husband? Is what I wanted to know.
There goes their defense.
And they said her husband. Why didn't we speak to her?
There goes that defense. The defense is gone now. They can't say his memory is bad.
I want to stop.
So can I ask you a question? Do you mind? Are you gonna get ahead? I'm asking you a question before I ask you this question. No, because I need to know. Are you gonna get
I know, I
angry?
can't tell you don't get angry, but don't hold the questions.
Why did you lie to me? About the ordeal.
I didn't. I did not lie to you about the ordeal.
So you went and met Misty.
Yes, and I drove in and I drove out. And they tried to say that again, and I asked them to show me a picture of Missy or whatever. Did y'all speak to the right fucking lady? Did you speak to her? Did you speak to her husband? Is what I wanted to say. You know? And they said her husband. But
I paused it at 1942:17 on the timestamp. And the timestamp reflects that this was on October 8th of 2022, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you catch there what she said about what police told her about who they had interviewed?
She said they interviewed her husband.
She said police told her that they had only interviewed Misty's husband.
Well, yeah.
Okay. That's what she told you, at least.
Yes, sir.
And I'll pick up the playback again.
speak to her. My son was in the oil fucking mirror.
No, there is ordeal in it.
Yeah.
There's ordeal in it.
So I told him, I said, no, I did not lie. I didn't lie to you about that.
So you went and got ordeal.
I went and got ordeal. Pull it in and pull it out, just like I told you last night.
And then they question you again about that?
Yeah. That's the only thing that's.
Why?
I heard you say there was an orgeal in there. I'll give you that. What were you referring to?
There was orgeal behind the mirror in the house,
Okay.
in the bathroom.
When did you see that orgeal?
The day, the 5th, I believe.
Okay, so like after, was it after you all had been at the police station?
Yeah, no. Maybe? I'm not going to act like I remember 100%. But I know it was there. I think there was 2 tubes, like an empty tube and one that had some in it.
And where'd you say it was?
Behind the mirror in the downstairs bathroom connected to the room.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, she's
The
done.
second,
She's
file
done.
here with
She's
the
done.
File name starting with 2013. We'll publish that now.
So what did you do when you left? At 1 in the morning. What did you do?
I went straight up there to the right up to the other shut line, got the ordeal, looked around and said, "Well, it came home."
That's what you did.
Yes.
You can look me in my
I am
eyes.
looking you in your eyes, Danny. That is what I did.
You can look
That
me
is
in
what
my
I
eyes.
did.
Just don't, you don't
Stop.
really yell.
Look at me in my eyes too. That is what I did. There was nothing else that I did. I came home and I went to bed, and I woke up to my baby gone. Do you understand me?
So you didn't do anything else?
No, nothing else at all. I was gone for 12 minutes.
And who did you meet?
Missy.
You met Misty.
Yes.
And now the third file, starting with 2017.
I feel like no family believes me more than my man does at this point.
I just don't know everything.
You do.
Nobody knows everything.
The only thing we don't know is what happened to Quinton.
So what did happen in your thoughts?
I don't know.
What do you
I
think?
don't know. I have no idea what to fathom. I cannot make up something in my head about what could possibly happen. I have no idea what happened to that baby.
I'm asking you, as a man to my woman, what do you think may have happened? I'm just, and we ain't talking a minute about what could have happened.
But we did spoke about it last night, and I have no idea what could have happened. I don't care about what could have happened. I want to know what happened.
No, he's
I don't
right.
know.
He's right.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to push it.
No, you decided
No,
to
that was a
say
fair
what
question. That was a fair question.
Enjoy that food I brought for you.
Is that Percocet?
No.
I don't know.
In fact, the only person I'm sitting here wanting the love and support from that I thought would be on my side 100% is on the fucking FBI side.
What are you talking about? Oh. Trying to
And
gaslight
the
him.
fourth file, with file name beginning 2025.
She was trying to gaslight him. Because he's right. You can't even speculate.
Sat here and explained the only thing that you did not know that I did. And I explained it. Last night and tonight.
How you did what?
Went and got Orgel.
That I didn't know about.
That's the only thing you didn't know. That when I left you at 204, you were awake. When I got back, you were awake.
From 204?
Yes.
Okay. But not from your...
Not from that. I like shook you and said I'm going to go get Orgel. You said no. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm up. I get back.
Okay. And you remember that clearly?
I remember that clear as day. You made that little sound that I hate fucking doing.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
she's trying to gaslight him. He said
And then the last file started 2029.
earlier he testified that she had told him.
Because I just need support? That I'm asking for your love and support and not your questions and doubt?
I'm asking you questions so I can understand.
But how many times do you have to ask me the same question about the same time, just like the fucking FBI does?
Okay, so it's just like the FBI, but you don't talk to me.
Yes, I have. I just sat here and explained to you.
You just talk
I
to
told
me.
you about it yesterday too, about what I did. You made me
Barely.
promise not to.
Okay, so you promised me with your pinky promise
Yes.
that you went and got
And I
Orgel.
went and got Orgel from Missy. I pulled in the neighborhood and I turned around and I went home.
You didn't go nowhere
I
else.
didn't go anywhere else.
You didn't do anything.
Nothing at all.
Damn.
Nothing.
Okay.
What about the 204? Didn't you go there?
I love it.
Because that's what he testified that she told him. That's what she testified she told him.
No.
It's exactly what it is. Danny,
No.
this is one of the hardest times of my life, and I did not need you to question me. I needed love and affection and support, and somebody sitting there telling me that we're going to find him, that it's going to be okay, that they're going to do their job.
We're gonna find him. We're going to find Quinton. They are going to find Quinton. They're going to find him.
I hope they do.
I do too. I really do.
And they told me that they still didn't have any leads.
They ain't have none.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What did they tell you?
That they didn't have anything they could tell me. And it's aggravating.
It's frustrating as hell.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And we're just sitting here go smooth this through. Let me question you, Leilani. Like, you have a good question twice as hard as I have.
Twice as hard? Nah, baby. I'm the only other person in that house other than Paul. You don't think I got interrogated like a goddamn fucking... Bro, you know that.
It's funny to you.
Oh, it's funny because you think that I'm sitting here not in the same position as like you think that the shit is a game to me, but I don't. You. Woo, boy. My life. You gonna call somebody to pick you up? That's what you're doing? Alright. That's on you,
I
babe.
wanted to come in here and I wanted to lay
Well, I
down,
wanted you to
and I
chill.
wanted to be comforted. I wanted to be sat there and told that we're going to do our best and that we're going to do what we got to do.
We are.
I did not want to sit here and be questioned the second time in a row by you about 1 o'clock.
It's the second night in a row, and it's not 1 o'clock. It's 8:30.
About 1 a.m.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what Life 360 said. I apologize.
It wasn't 1 a.m. all that.
It was like 1:15.
Like to me. Like not right here physically, but I need you to come back over this way, okay? Because I did tell them. There was ordeal in that cabinet. You know? There was 2 without a cap, there was 1 with a cap, from what my knowledge is. I know there was 3 things of ordeal in that cabinet, okay? That's fact.
Yes.
And they didn't check behind that mirror.
I don't know.
They didn't. I know that. Okay? But it was there. And it is,
I always put the lie.
why didn't you grab it?
Because my mom was
The fact that she said that the police confirmed.
So after that night, you didn't eat it anymore?
No, not besides the
Why didn't you grab the Amazon or anything?
Because when I was trying that, it wasn't working. It was making me gag.
With the accuser?
When I was trying to put it in right there, it was making me gag going down the back of my throat.
Okay.
She said the police confirmed that they spoke with Misty,
Alright, well, you take your second. I'll talk in a second, right?
and she said that they confirmed that she saw the same story. That's a lie, and he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that.
I just need I'll go smoke a cigarette with you. It don't matter. I mean, just give me a second. I'll meet you down there, because I'm just...
I want to know where my baby is. And I want people like you and everybody to stop coming at me like I did something to my own child.
Why did I come at you like that to you? Because every time I ask you a fucking question...
No, Danny, it's not every time you ask me a question.
Oh.
Every time you ask me about the 1 a.m., I told you. It was when we went into other micro questions about it that it felt like you were an FBI agent sitting here trying to question me.
But you don't treat me like that when I ask any other question? You don't treat me like that when I talk to you any other way? Or when
Yeah, I do.
You do treat me like that.
What do you mean?
You treat me like I'm accusing you of something.
No, I only do that when you sat there and you asked the first time. I said yes. I went missing.
No,
What you continuously asking is when I started getting aggravated.
This time.
Huh?
This time.
Yeah, I am last night when you continuously asked.
This is his. He might not be his kid, but he clearly cares about this kid enough to ask questions.
No, they didn't.
Why can't she speculate as to what may have happened to the kid? She is so adamant to not do that. I don't know. Someone could have taken him. Someone could have done this. I'm so scared right now. Anything.
She didn't really like you asking about that Oragel trip, did she?
No, sir, she didn't.
Now, sometime after this, did you agree also to have your telephone communications monitored?
Yes, sir, I did.
And
Also in 31,
say again?
it's, then, no, it's not. I'm sorry. I thought it was on this document, a separate document. But yes, sir, I did agree to have my phone, monitored.
I'd like to approach with what I marked as Stacy's Exhibit 33. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
My consent for them to monitor my telephone, my
Now,
cell phone.
Was this, is this a fair and accurate copy of that document?
Yes, sir.
Is it one of those forms or more than one?
There's multiple.
Okay. Why are there multiple?
There's a second one from a month later, because I guess they have to renew them, I guess.
Did you have any problem with agreeing to this?
No, not at all.
Why is that?
I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, they already knew about what I was doing drug-wise, so I had no issues with anything they wanted to find.
Your Honor, I would offer States 33 into evidence at this time.
Objection, Your Honor.
All right, the one on the front, is that the first one?
Yes, sir.
And when does that show that that document was signed?
The 9th of October.
And then what about the second one?
The 8th of November.
Okay, so the first one's on the 9th, and then you renewed it again a month later?
Yes, sir. And I still, even past this, there was contact between me and them so they could monitor.
So it was more than just that?
Yeah.
Now, did they explain to you what of your phone communications were going to be monitored? Whether it was just your
All of them.
contact with the defendant or all of them?
Well, it says the purpose of viewing, listening to, and or recording any activity I may have with Leilani.
Was your understanding, though, that they would be able to listen to all of your telephone calls with anybody and see all of your text messages with anybody?
Yeah,
And you were still willing to do this?
absolutely.
Now, we just watched these videos from the hotel, and the timestamp, the date stamp shows that those were on October 8th, right?
Yes, sir.
And we've talked about the consent form for monitoring your phone, and that was, the first one at least, was signed on October 9th, right?
Yes, sir.
Where were you when you signed the second one?
My mother's house in North Carolina.
When did you go to your mother's house in North Carolina?
I think I signed this first paper, and I think I left Georgia that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Why did you leave Georgia?
Actually, no, I didn't leave Georgia. I left Savannah. I went to Atlanta for a weekend
And why did you go to Atlanta?
to get away from Savannah
And after Atlanta, where did you go?
to Dunn, North Carolina.
You went to
Your
pick up a
mother's house?
few
Yes, sir.
dollars.
And was that, at that point, was that essentially the end of your time living in Savannah, or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you a couple miscellaneous questions.
He wants to
Let
announce
me
when
ask
he
you
needs a
this,
few
things
dollars.
between you and the defendant kind of fall apart during this investigation.
There was already nothing there.
Do you remember ever seeing Quinton with any favorite toys or stuffed animals or anything like that?
No, not specifically.
Do you remember him having a favorite Mickey Mouse toy?
No, I don't.
If he had had a favorite Mickey Mouse toy, is that something that you think you would remember having lived with him during that time frame?
More than likely, yes.
And you have no recollection of that?
No, sir.
If he had had a Mickey Mouse toy that he slept with every night, would you think he would remember that?
Yes, sir, more than likely.
And do you remember anything like that?
No, sir.
Let me ask you about trash, okay? You lived in that house for some months, if I understand correctly.
How long? Yeah.
For a period of months, you lived there?
Yes.
Okay. We have seen introduced into evidence a picture of 3 trash cans on like a wooden rack in the carport area.
Yeah, I remember that. That rack.
Say again?
I remember the wooden rack where the trash cans were kept.
What did y'all do with garbage in that house, like kitchen garbage?
Took them to those 3 trash cans that were sitting on top of that rack.
And then what would you do with the trash cans?
They would get loaded up in the truck and dumped off in a larger dumpster to be taken away.
What dumpster would y'all use for that?
Azalea mobile home.
Now, what vehicle would you use to take those garbage cans to Azalea?
Thomas's white Silverado.
Is that something that you would do, or who would do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would anybody
I
else?
would.
Would anybody else do that?
Not normally, no.
Okay. Let me ask you this: did you guys ever drive around with garbage in the back of the Dodge Journey?
No.
Like just a trash bag with leftover food in the back of the Dodge Journey?
No.
Why not?
That would stink up the vehicle. It just sounds nasty.
At the time, October 4th, October 5th, was there any garbage in the back of the Dodge Journey?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you have any recollection of ever having a garbage bag in the back of the Dodge Journey? Like full of leftover food.
Oh, no.
The back of the Dodge Journey is upholstered, right? Had carpet.
Yes, sir.
Um,
That's another reason.
why would you not want to put a trash bag full of old food on that?
Stain the carpet and seek in and
I feel like I should remember something from
nasty.
this.
Do you have any recollection of having had?
I think
any
Piashenka went
shit
through this.
in the household in the days leading up to Quinton's disappearance?
possibly.
Anything more you remember about that?
No.
One note, please.
Let me try and fast forward a little bit. See if I.
So, Mr. Youngkin, I'm going to ask you to step down. You can have a seat in the. I'm going to ask you to have a seat.
Okay, I think she's
You
recessing
leave
for
that
the
right
day. I think she's going for the day. All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we got started a little with the evidence itself a little bit later today, although we were working prior to that. I'm going to let y'all go for the evening, and we're going to start again in the morning. We're going to start at 9 o'clock, so back to that, okay? And I just want to remind you again, don't discuss the case with anyone. Don't allow anyone to discuss the case with you.
Oh, affirmative.
Don't read, do research, watch television articles. Don't consume any media reports about the case. I am going to release you this evening. I hope you have a good evening. Please know I understand this is not easy, and you have my thanks. We'll see you in the morning. Okay.
Gerald, to be exiting?
All right, and I don't think they have anything more to add. So let me just check. Let me just see if. Let me just wait a bit before I go and give my final thoughts.
Just plugging into the system.
Let me see if they have any
So if we're
arguments to
gonna
make.
start at 9 o'clock, you wanna, okay. We'll reach out to, court administration for someone to be here 8:30.
Y'all have, I think y'all have my email and cell phone, so just, if there's anything I need to be here earlier, just let me know, and I'll be here earlier.
I would imagine that 8:30 is gonna be fine. Okay? Anything that anyone wants to put on the record at this time?
Not from the defense, Judge.
Mr. Youngkin, you will, be the witness that begins in the morning, okay? All right, you step out in the hallway.
We'll seek frustration, Judge. Might want to advise him not to speak.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Youngkin, please don't speak with anyone about the case, don't speak with any witnesses. You yourself don't do any research or look further into the case, but the most important thing is the rule of sequestration. Don't speak with any other witnesses about the matter. Thank you. All right, with that, we're in recess until 9 a.m. in the morning. Thank you.
All right, so that's it. That is the end of today's stream. So before we do go, let me just go over my notes because it is for the testimony for Daniel Youngkin's testimony. Just a reminder on the of the dates. The 3rd of October is when. The 3rd of October 2022 is when Leilani had declared to the police that Quinton is missing, and on this same night she told Quinton because she told Daniel, sorry, not Quinton, she told Daniel because he testified that she had left the house to go to 204. 204 is a convenience store at ExxonMobil or something like that. That's what I found on the map. Let me just if I can share it, if I can share the tab. 204. I could be wrong, but it's near a food place. Let me just go back and just share it. It's near a food place here. It's a petrol at Exxon. So that could be where they're referencing. I don't know, but that's where supposedly she had went. I don't know who Paul is. I wish that they would establish that, but I don't know. Paul could be could be the mother's boyfriend, Michelle. It could be that. But they were increasing the rent. That's basically what came out, and a lot of this. The one possible motive for me to think that why she would do this is because of the rent increase, but I don't know. It just sounds too far fetched. But until the 5th of October, I was kind of on the fence again, because again I'm trying to think of what motive she would have to do this until that private conversation that she had with Quinton on the phone, and on top of the Google search. That private conversation that she had with Quinton in the hotel room has kind of sealed it for me. I don't know why she would do something like this, but the fact that she said that the FBI said that they had definitely spoken to Misty, and she told them that she was with her and giving her the oral job. That's just factually wrong, because of Marion Lemon's testimony that's not what happened. But she was trying to tell Danny on this one that was the case. I think his memory is fine, but the Mickey Mouse toy, that is something that I hope that will be cleared up later on, because I don't have a much recollection of why this Mickey Mouse toy would be important right now. But he says that he has never really remembered or have any recollection as to this toy being Quinton's favorite, and that does come across as a shock to me, because he does seem to remember the key details, not the small minor details, but he seems to remember the key details, and he doesn't remember this one. And I do remember the Mickey Mouse toy being brought up by Philip Schenker, who was taking pictures of the crib, etc. So of course, it does look like she did it. It does look like she had something that she knows more than she's letting on. The fact that she wasn't even willing to speculate. I mean, if I was to put myself in her shoes and I didn't do anything to a child, the first thing I'll be like, I really don't know, man. I'll be saying I really don't know. Like, it could be taken. He could be. I can't process this. Like, I'm thinking I'll be breaking down. I'll be trying to process something and be like, I have no idea, and none of this is helping. If I was really mad at that scene, I'm frustrated. I'd be like, none of these questions are helping, because I don't know what happened to what happened with him. He could be taken. He could be I don't know. He could be killed. He could be dead right now. I don't know. I just want everyone to find him. That's what I'll be thinking in my head. But she wasn't even interested in doing that. She just kept repeating the same story, as if it's trying to convince him. And when things like that happen, my brother, it's just. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. But I adjourn for the day. Thank you everyone that tuned in, and if you're watching this back on replay, you are the true MVP. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll leave it there. Go back. You can go back and forth in the comments, and do not forget to hit the like button. We're gonna leave it there. Go back. Like I said, go back and forth in the comments. Respect everyone. Share the stream with everybody except those scrubs. Don't be a creep as well in the comments. Be respectful to everyone in there. And yeah, we'll see you on the next stream. Bye for now. Show is over, but that does not mean that the fun has to end. And I know how cliche that sounds, but really and truly, the fun really does not have to end. You know how good our streams are and how fun they can be. So we have decided to put them all into a podcast and a playlist format for you to binge on if you so wish. We also do recaps and clips of the best bits, the worst bits, all of those bits, lady bits, every bits, whatever it might be. We do that as well, and we upload onto the channel so in case you guys just you don't wanna watch the full thing, you have the option of watching just the short versions. It's up to you. You have the choice. You have the power, like E-Man. So without further, you can also check out the main Heinz website where we continue the discussions over there, but in a more broader context to try and get into the psychology of why all these things happen. The end screen should be up here so that you guys can see the content you guys can watch. The playlist will be on your left hand side or right hand side, I don't know which one, and the video that and a recap clip should pop up here. So without further, I'll just say bye, and I'll see you on the next stream, and most importantly, the Unintentional Juror podcast. See you there.